I'm very well aware. You don't need to point that out to me. Doesn't mean that we're not Super Bowl champions. We're just not reigning champions. Stupid Patriots. Ugh. So anyway, I'm going to go on to my blog post now, which we've been talking about the relationships in your life this week. And I wanted to talk about parental expectations. I have a picture up with a quote that says, "You can't change how people feel about you, so don't try. Just live your life and be happy." Another one of those easier said than done things, right? But this is a doozy for me anyway. Are your parents super proud of you and supportive of all your dreams? That's great. Congratulations. Be grateful because not everyone is so lucky. Now, I've made it pretty clear I've had numerous issues with my mother. I believe she was a narcissist. She was so good at convincing others what a terrible daughter I was and basically just a terrible person. But I just read an article and posted it in the group page yesterday about how narcissists get away with abusing you while still looking like a good person to everyone else. It's a really good article and totally representative of how my relationship with my mother played out. So if you haven't gotten a chance to check that out in the group page, check it out. If you haven't joined the group page, join the group page. So are you kind of like me and your parents were not so supportive? Are they still on your case about certain things? Do they want you to do things that they think you should do? Does it matter to them what truly lights you up? Are they behind you in your dreams and goals? Now, it can be really difficult to go against your parents' wishes. And you know that ultimately, most of the time, they want what is best for you. But their definition of that may not always match up with your definition. That we've seen a lot through the years. My father was very supportive in making sure I got a college education. In fact, he paid for the whole thing, all 7 years. Yes, 7 years. I was not the best student. But I finally got that piece of paper, and when I decided to pursue a career in radio, he was not very happy about it. He would often say he wished I would get into another field that was a little more lucrative, because no matter what you think, most people are not making Howard Stern or Elvis Duran money. I get it. He was worried about my future, and I can't be mad over that. But it was important for me to enjoy what I did, and every time I talked to him, I felt like I was going to get like a little dig about the path that I followed. But I love working in morning radio, and it has obviously caused me a lot of heartache over the years. So maybe I should have taken his advice, gone into another field. But things have played out the way that they have. So my mother actually was supportive of my radio dream. I even heard through the years that she would often brag about me to her friends. She never told me that she was proud of me or bragged about me to me. I don't really ever get that, how parents brag about their kids to other people but never really tell them how proud they are. This kind of seems a little backwards to me. She would listen to the shows I was on if it were convenient for her, if she happened to be in the car, and she would tune into my current station if she got it. But I think it was mostly about how my being somewhat of a local celebrity made her look good. I do know that my mother did want me to go after my dreams. I think that she truly did want me to do that. And I give her credit. I give credit where credit is due. But my mom was very upset when I moved to the Jersey Shore for the first time in my early 30s. I'm not sure why, because we didn't see each other all that much other than holidays. I was living in Philly at the time. She was living in Bucks County. But she seemed to take the fact that I was moving to New Jersey very hard. My brother and sister had both moved far away. Maybe she just felt like she was being abandoned by all of her kids. But it was not my responsibility to stay somewhere I didn't want to be just to keep her happy, right? Right. I think Joe and I moving an hour and a half away also caused some issues with his family. But again, I don't feel we should be expected to put our lives on hold and our happiness on hold for really any reason. It just doesn't seem fair to anyone involved, especially us. And that's just the way I feel about it. You may feel differently, but I have to live my life as I see best, just as you do. So don't let expectations from your parents hold you back from how you truly want to live your life. They really shouldn't have expectations of you other than what you want. We know that's not the case a lot of the time. If you don't want to join in the family business, that could be a tough conversation, especially if it's just always been a given that that is what you will be doing. But think about when that expectation started. Were you ever actually asked if that's what you wanted, or were you just expected to follow along? Here's the thing. I say this all the time. You get this one life. You have to live it the way you know will make you happiest. If it means disappointing some of the people in your life, then so be it. You aren't responsible for their happiness. I'm not saying to be a jerk. Just know that it's okay to break away from expectations that don't match up to yours. No matter who it is, parents, children, spouse, friends, this is your life, and only you can make yourself happy. You cannot depend on others to do that for you. So I'm going to finish off with this. As I've mentioned before, I've had a very strained relationship with my mother. I tried for years to make it better between us. Yes, I could have done things differently. I could have made a better effort, but she could as well. And just like this article I was mentioning about narcissism says, once my mother realized that I was calling her out on her treatment of me and wouldn't tolerate it anymore, she replaced me. She became very close to my cousin, and she became the daughter to her she always wanted me to be. The person who doted on her and worshipped her. That's what she wanted me to do. But she treated me badly a lot of the time. And she couldn't seem to connect the fact that when you treat somebody badly, they don't want to dote on you and worship you. She didn't have the same expectations of my cousin, which is why she had a much different relationship. In fact, she had no expectations of my cousin. My cousin could do no wrong in my mother's eyes. I, however, seemed to never be able to do anything right. It may be awful to say, but in the year and a half since my mother's passing, I have felt a weight lift off my shoulders. I'm not saying that I'm glad my mother passed away. I'm just saying that the weight of constantly being made to feel like a terrible daughter and hence a terrible person in her mind was so difficult. I just felt like the bad guy all the time. I knew the truth, but she made herself out to be the victim and me, this horrible, selfish, insensitive person who didn't care about her at all. Was not the case. I'm sure there are still a lot of her friends that do think I was a horrible daughter. And honestly, it does bother me a little bit. But you know what? I know there's nothing I can do about it. I also know the real story, and they don't. So keep all of this in mind when it comes to difficult family relationships. Nobody should have expectations of you that don't match up with your own dreams and goals. And if they do, tough noogies on them. Tough noogies on them. This is your life. You're going to do what makes you happy. If that includes making mistakes, that includes making mistakes. Because you know what? We all do it. We all make mistakes. We should not be banished from these relationships because we chose to do something that you were warned against. Everybody has to live their life, make their own mistakes, and figure it out on their own. So, for the second time today, I will get off of my soapbox. And after all of this seriousness, it's even more of a, I wish it were Cocktail Friday Thursday, but we are almost there, people. It's going to be another beautiful day. I hope you get a chance to enjoy a little bit of it because it's going to be sunny and 85. Low humidity. So get out there and make it your best day yet.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.